In part 1, we looked at how to add audio using the system.media.soundplayer class. Now, while the use of this class is great for playing .wav files, it's somewhat limited. However, we can use the Windows Media Player control to play other types of files like WMA, WMV, and MP3, and even others. This does come with a price, however, as we noted in the previous video. The Windows Media Player control relies on the existence of the Windows Media Player being installed and in working order on the user's computer, which unfortunately is not always a safe assumption. To demonstrate how to use the Windows Media Player control, I've created a second project called Audio Part 2 CS. And one of the things that we'll have to demonstrate first of all is that the Windows Media Player control is not available in your toolbox by default. So you'll have to add it to your toolbox. I'm going to go to the General section at the very bottom of the toolbox and just right-click in this area and select Choose Items. We'll select the COM Components tab at the very top of our Choose Toolbox Items, and then scroll down near the bottom where we'll find the Windows Media Player. Put a check mark next to it and then click OK. And now you can see that we have our Windows Media Player control listed in our General section. I'm just going to drag and drop it onto our designer surface and then resize it so that we can see all the controls. And then change the name of this to Windows Media Player. And now that I've added it to my form, I can work with it programmatically. Let's go ahead and move our toolbox and then take a look at the code that we've written for our application. You can see the code in the form load event looks very familiar to some code that we wrote in our previous example in the first video in our audio series. And what we've done was create a local variable called tada.path, which is a hard-coded path to our tada.wav file in Windows XP. As we noted last time, there may be a different file location for Windows 2000 users. This time, we've also worked with the settings class of our Windows Media Player and set the auto start property equal to false. If we don't do that, then as soon as the form loads, it'll begin to play whatever file that we will assign to the URL path, which we do in the very next line of code. And this will allow us to input a path, whether that be a file path on our local user's hard drive or a resource somewhere out on the internet or even on the local network. So let's go ahead and save the changes we made to our application and run it. And just to see if this actually works, we'll click the play button. And again, I'm not sure that you'll be able to hear this in the recording, but in my headphones I heard the tada sound play one time. As you might expect, just about any feature of the Windows Media Player control is available programmatically through the properties of the control itself, as well as its settings class. Let's take a quick browse through the various properties that are available. For example, you get a reference to the CD-ROM collection. In other words, all of the bits of media that are on a CD-ROM, or even on a playlist. If we scroll down, we can find a similar collection for playlist items. Media collection, and then also I think playlist collection. Through the settings class, we can, for example, set the balance. We can mute, select, and retrieve information about the play count. We can allow the user to rate this bit of media, as you can do with the Windows Media Player, and then also adjust the volume. So to recap, if you need a simple playback of a sound, and that sound is a WAV file, then consider using the system.media.soundplayer class. However, if you need to allow playback of more types of media and allow for more interactivity with that media, then you might be better served using the Windows Media Player control.